For this video, I'm going to show Azure backup service for virtual machines. So I'm just creating a new, Windows virtual machine. And when you go to management, you check enable backup. And it's going to create a new recovery services vault and a backup policy. So, the vault is used to create a restore point, which is just like a snapshot it's just a copy of the virtual machine. And then the backup policy tells you, like let's click it here, it'll show. It tells you how often to back it up and how long to retain the backups. So like we'll back it up daily at 6 p.m. and instant restore. It has snapshots along with the disk, so it's faster to restore, like instantly almost compared to normal restore. And okay, so I like all that. And then recovery services vault is not really any details, you just create it. Alright, it's ready. So you scroll down, go to backup. You see it has its vault and it's still creating it now. But if you didn't, while you're provisioning the VM, check backup, then you could always just click backup and enable it here. So you could do it before or you could do it after you deploy your virtual machine. But now I'm just gonna connect to it and then install IIS on it and then create like a notepad file. So I'm just gonna pause it because I show how to do that. How to install IIS on it locally or inside of the server in a different video, so I'm not going to waste time keeping it here. So anyway, it's installing IIS. Open up Notepad. And just going to save this. And we're going to put in C. Just call it default. Alright, cool. And it's done. So we can close it. And I opened port 80. Let's go back to backup. So you can see it says warning initial backup pending. So there wasn't any backup yet because based on our backup policy, I think it was 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. So that time didn't happen yet. So I'm gonna go back to here, and I just realized I didn't save it in the right place. And that's the right name actually. So you go to inept pub, www.root, and then we'll do all files and do default.html. Okay, there. So there will be 2 copies of that. So anyway, so I'm not going to wait till 6 o'clock or whenever. So we could just do a manual backup. We don't have to wait for it. I'm just doing backup now. And you'd set the retention period. So, a month from now. It's fine. Actually, let's just do... Wow, it's not letting me change. The 3rd, whatever. and you say okay, it's triggering the backup. So as that's happening, let's go check out the fault. So it's all resources. Let me just filter for the vault. So here it is. And the vault's always in the same region as the VM. Alright, so the backup triggered successfully. So at the top you can see it has like two features, backup and site recovery. So, you already said what backups are for. Site recovery is, for like fault tolerance. I mean, that sounds similar to backup, but it's just like if you want to copy over your VMs somewhere else, that's how you could do it. So I looked up what's the difference between backups and site recovery, and it says site recovery is like a site level data protection. So if you lose an entire production site, it's a lot easier to use that than to just simply restore a backup. And it's more focused on replications. So that's the difference. So anyway, let's just look around. So like getting started, backup. Where? So you can do on premises if it's, you have a data center or whatever, Azure. And what do you want to back up? A file share, SQL Server. Yeah, a lot of, so that's where to do that. And then go to backup items. It'll show you what's being backed up right now. It's just we have one virtual machine. So if you click it, it'll show you it's the virtual machine we created, and it still hasn't done the backup yet. So if you go back, and we can go to like backup policies, we can see the one that we created when we created a virtual machine. And if you want to add another policy, you can just add it here. And let's go to where backup jobs. So, there's the configure to backup. We did that. And then we did our manual backup, and you see it's still in progress. That's why it's not showing it in, where is it? Wherever I just showed you earlier. So anyway, it takes around like half an hour for it to do it, and then I'll change to completed. So anyway, I went back to the VM, and I went to backup, and now it's the backup status is successful, and create a restore point that's application consistent. There's crash consistent, which is if it's going to crash during the backup, you do that one, and file system consistent, which is like for Linux, or so that's kind of that restore point we created. So let me just show you something. Let's go back to the vault. And backup jobs. So it still says it's in progress, even though in the virtual machine it's done. And the reason why is because if you look up the backup policy here, 6 p.m. Right now there's instant restore. So it's because we have instant restore ready, but not the full backup, and that's why it's a snapshot. And that's it. So in order to back up a VM, you create a recovery services vault, and then you create backup policy, and then when you actually want to use it, You could do it manual by creating the backup, or you just let the policy do it, and it'll create the restore point, and then we'll go on from there later. I'll make another video what happens after.